Marty, it's always great to be with you. Well, I was on the call and on the one hand, couldn't believe what I was hearing. But then, secondly, on the other hand, this is just so par for the course and right on brand. No one took any responsibility. And I don't want to be saying this. I just know that if I don't, everything's going to continue and the status quo will continue. And the consultants who made tens of millions of dollars fleecing the campaign while losing so decisively to Trump will just move on to the next campaign like nothing ever happened. The call was very self-congratulatory. Everyone is patting themselves on the back for I'm not sure what, since we lost all 7 swing states. There was no sense of analysis or introspection or even humility. A lot of people on the call gave everything. Well, she had 2 calls, one with top donors and one with grassroots. Some people were giving $10 to $25, and for them, that was so substantial. And then others gave $1 million. Perhaps they were giving in installments because it was hard for them. I have a duty of care to my donors, to stand up for them and to ask where all the money was, where all the money went. Because right now, as far as we know, millions went to celebrities, 2.5 went to Oprah. $500,000 went to Al Sharpton right before he interviewed Kamala Harris. I mean, it's just a boondoggle.
Right. And many of those celebrities who are frustrated with the loss are now saying, we just did a segment, they're leaving the country because they're so frustrated. When you talk to the donors and supporters after this call who are disenfranchised and they're clearly frustrated with how things went, what did they share with you about the state of the Democratic Party and her role in it?
People are shocked. And I'm getting someone even said that they refuse to donate to the DNC ever again, and they're just going to contribute to Senate candidates or to different PACs. People are shocked. And also the way that they've been treating donors. Again, this pains me to say it. It's just very difficult. We feel discarded now that they don't need us anymore. They're basically treating us as dispensable commodities. I don't know what else to say. How can the American people believe that the Democratic Party is capable of handling taxpayer funds if they can't even handle campaign funds?
Did it come up on the call? So $1.4 billion was raised for the campaign, but we're hearing reports $20 million in debt. Did that get addressed at all?
So the MO on these calls, we used to do these monthly. So the MO is that nobody's allowed to talk other than the speakers. No one is allowed to talk. The comment section is disabled. It's like this every single time. It's been like this the entire year. So there's no way to ask questions. And of course, I doubt they would, bring it up themselves. They clearly did not. So no, Marty, the answer is no. None of the serious questions were addressed. It was really just patting each other's on the back and we'll see you for the Christmas party in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Well, I'm not entirely shocked that they failed to address where the billions of dollars went. Let's bear in mind that it wasn't just $1 billion. It was $2 billion because they raised $1 billion through the campaign, another $1 billion through the super PAC. So where did that $2 billion go? And so we know so far that millions went to celebrities, went to private jets, to ice cream. $450,000 a day was spent on the Sphere, and bear in mind that we lost Nevada. So it's astounding. And so how can Americans believe that the Democratic Party can properly handle taxpayer funds if we can't even handle a campaign? There has to be a serious accounting and a serious postmortem, not just slapping each other on the back and congratulating each other. Thank you so much. I do want to say that $1 billion in 100 days is not just run of the mill. This is astounding. And I have a duty of care to my donors who gave millions of dollars, and it wasn't easy for them to give. Some of them were paying in installments. It was a sacrifice for them. They looked for ways to give. So, people gave their hearts and souls to the campaign. They deserve a serious accounting to see why we were told that she was close or even winning in some of the swing states, but we lost all 7.
Well,
even the finance of the DNC said it was a shock.
He answered that question today, and he said none of the public polling showed what their internal polling was showing. They knew that.
What did they say? We heard on the podcast, but what did they say on this call? Did they accept any blame? Did they sort of talk about mistakes that were made?
No, No, none. No responsibility, no accounting, no postmortem, no explanation. All they said was that she was a visionary leader, that the Biden-Harris administration was a tremendous success. We didn't hear any sort of explanation for what exactly happened. This was not a squeaker of a race. This was not a close race. This is a serious shellacking. And we need to understand why the difference, the delta between the expectations and the reality was so significant. How are you ever going to expect anyone to ever donate or to believe in the Democratic Party again? We were sold a false bill of goods, and we need to know what happened. And I fear that all these consultants who made bank, who made hundreds of millions of dollars on these media buys, they're just going to fail upwards and go on to the next campaign.
When we got in, my recollection is some of that snapped back, but we were behind. I mean, I think it surprised people because there was these public polls that came out in late September, early October, showing us with leads that we never saw. I mean, it was just basically a race that in the battlegrounds was 46-47, 47-48. So that's not where we started. We started behind. She was able to climb out. I think even after the debate, we might have gained, 0.51. It wasn't a race that moved a lot. And so I think when you think about our own internal analytics, if you have Wisconsin at 47-47, or Pennsylvania 48-47 Trump, let's say, which I think is where we had it at the end, you've got to have undecideds break your way more than your opponents. And you've got to get a little benefit from turnout, which
right.
The
Vice President has been instructing advisors and allies to keep her options open. That could be a possible 2028 presidential run or even a run for governor in her home state of California in 2 years. Harris has reportedly repeating in phone calls, quote, "I'm staying in the fight." Let's talk about it now with our political panelists. Theron Bond joins us now, a Democratic strategist, and Luke Ball is a Republican strategist. So 2 different perspectives here. Welcome to you both. Theron, we'll start with you. Is this a good idea for VP Harris to continue her political ambitions?
Not to run for president again in 2028. Please don't. I can't really speak.